Business out of hand. Let's promote the fight we got tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maurice Hooker, hell of a fight.
Great fight.
Let's keep it 100. It's a hell of a fight at 140. Obviously, you're going with Maurice Hooker. How difficult was it to promote the fight?
I mean, firstly, it was difficult to make because obviously he's a top-ranked fighter. He's an ESPN fighter. At some point, the offer's too good to ignore, and you know, Bob is wise enough and experienced enough to realise that was the right offer to make this fight. We made the fight. Tempting to go to California because Ramirez is a big draw in Fresno and stuff like that, but you know, the main focus of this fight was Maurice is our guy. We want him to win the fight. I wanted to bring him to Dallas for a fight, and I feel like this is a big breakout fight for him. You know, this is the fight where if he can win, he could start doing something down in Dallas, and I'm excited. I love fights like this where you go in and you actually, your heart's pumping and you're excited and you can scream and shout, and you know.
It's a 50-50 fight for fans. Yeah, for you, obviously not, but it's a 50-50 fight.
No, I think it is a 50-50 fight. You know, I do. I believe Maurice will win the fight, but Jose's a great fighter. I just think style-wise, Maurice, long, rangy, good counter-puncher. Ramirez, I don't know. I'm excited. It's one of those where you don't know, and that's always great for boxing.
Andy Ruiz said it's a setup. You saw the hashtag, obviously, with Dillian Whyte. How are negotiations? It seems like you're over here in America kind of telling you it's December 14th, period, or else we're going to court. Basically.
No, I've never said that in an interview.
No, I'm talking about your interpretation.
Oh, right, yeah. But obviously, if he don't want to take the fight, that's the route that things will go down. But I don't see everything that I speak to. His team of professional people. You know, Al Heyman, Tom Brown. You know, they know what they signed up to, and it's not a bad contract. They negotiated the contract. You know, so they know the terms of that contract. December 14th in Cardiff, possibly, probably, not official, still not confirmed. But you know, every time Andy tweets something like that, then he goes back and sort of says, "But you know, if it's in the UK, then I'll go and have a great fight." Because I think there's probably messages from the team to say, you know,
Americans would have some concerns, being that we'll get to Dillian Whyte in a second. But as it relates to Dillian Whyte, Billy Joe Saunders, Tyson Fury, the list goes on and on in terms of performance-enhancing drugs and actually winning fights that arguably maybe you shouldn't have won. Don't you think it's fair to have some concerns as an American fan and for Team Ruiz?
Not really, because Andy Ruiz got the opportunity from nowhere to change his life and fight Anthony Joshua.
We know that already. I'm talking about in terms of the rematch being in Cardiff.
No, that's what I'm saying. Okay. If you let me finish it.
Okay, gotcha.
So Joshua came to Andy Ruiz's country, gave him a shot out of nothing, and lost the fight. Part of the deal was that if we lose, we do the rematch, you know, on our terms, effectively. And our terms are, we want to do that in Cardiff. In terms of Avada and UCAD and blah, 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 our testing is so much more extreme than testing in America. Firstly, the VADA situation is global. So when we do a big fight in America, there's VADA testing. It's $40,000 a fight. It's a lot of money. When we do a fight in the UK, there's VADA testing. So I don't see that as an issue at all. From a fairness and officials and all that, they'll be neutral. You know, it's not a case of, oh, we're going to have all British judges. Or that's a problem when you go to a commission in America. When you go to Las Vegas, as you know, you can't get a neutral panel. It's all Las Vegas officials. So my worry, you know, I'm sure you'll come on to the Dillian Whyte thing, is look at that's not a great scenario, but look at yourselves. Look at your own testing policy.
America.
Right, you had guys, you know, and horribly so, that have been injured lately, even passed away. Was there testing in process for those fights? Ask yourself those questions. Were fighters testing?
Well, we know the answers to that because your undercard fighters don't subscribe to it. They can't afford it.
No.
Same thing with undercard
in
fighters.
Britain, they are. They're random tested by UCAD. In America, what are you doing to solve the problem of PEDs?
You're deflecting a little bit.
No, I'm not, because we haven't got to that question yet. We haven't got to that question. Answer the question. What are you doing in America about cheating going on in America? Unless VADA are employed to independently monitor fights, there is no testing program from any commission, any governing body for this country in boxing.
My job is to ask the questions. My job isn't to put...
No, I'm asking you. I'm asking for your advice. Because I'm telling you, you know more about boxing in America than me.
You're great at deflecting.
We haven't got to that part yet. I'm not deflecting.
You're great at deflecting.
I'm asking you the question. You can't answer it because you know there's no testing in the US.
No, because that's not my job. My job is to ask, like, I don't know.
I'm asking you now. No, but I'm asking you. Is there testing? There isn't.
Yeah, there's VADA, there's
No,
there isn't.
There is no testing from a commission or from a national
agency. 50
agency.
commissions in America.
Yeah, and they don't do random testing. Mate, I do shows in most of those commissions. I know these fighters aren't being tested. Okay, VADA. There's so many great things about VADA, right? The great thing is, it's reported.
Yes.
Right? That's one of the great things about VADA. The downside of VADA is there's no sanctioning. They can't do anything. So they can expose the information, but who takes responsibility to make the decisions and the actions? The answer is no one. Because look at Jarrell Miller, right, as an example. No one will ban him. No one will. They can stop his. They don't have to license him in a commission, but effectively he will find a place to box.
But I'm glad you want to discipline Jarrell Big Baby Miller.
I don't want to listen. That incident is over, right? As far as I'm concerned.
But that's the example you're using.
I can't discipline him. I'm a
no,
promoter.
but the fact that you want to discipline him,
I believe he should. If any
makes
fighter
makes us agreement about
yes,
Dillian Whyte.
If any fighter is confirmed and basically found guilty of intentionally using and doping on a substance, they should be banned from the sport.
D-ball is intentional. We know that.
Well, you don't know anything about the case at all. You're following a case from Thomas Houser. Let the truth come out. Okay. Let him have his say. At the moment, he's just presumed guilty, right? His case is his case. He will deal with his case. Nothing to do with me. I'll do the show, right? We'll get onto the show, and the show was, your next question is, about the show.
No, let's backtrack a little bit.
Okay.
When did Eddie Hearn find out about the positive?
I can't talk to you about all it. But do you want the truth? You know it's a confidential legal situation for Dillian Whyte.
But
okay, all I'll tell you is I found out.
You found out before the fight?
Yes, I did. I found out, it wasn't long before the fight. I'll tell you as much as I can. And I know you think that I'm trying to not, but I can't. Yesterday, I gave loads of interviews, and I got told off because there will be a legal case going on and a confidential case where Dillian Whyte effectively has to prove to all you people that he's
all boxing fans.
No,
not you
all
people.
No, all people.
All boxing fans.
No, all people around the world. Because right now, as you've read an article, he's guilty, right? Let him have his.
Same with Jarrell Big Baby Miller.
Bit of a different scenario. In fact, a massive.
2 drugs, no 3.
No, wasn't 2. No. Again, you're wrong. See, this is where you're wrong. You get your facts wrong every time. There wasn't 2 drugs. There wasn't 2 drugs. There wasn't 2. No, there wasn't. You're getting it for a boxing scene. Let the guy have his process, right? Okay. So I found out about it. We were told that he would have to open a B sample or have a hearing. Okay. This was like a day before the fight. It's impossible to open a B sample, get that done, get that tested, etc. The only choice he had was to present all the information and the facts from mainly, and again, this will come on out in time, VADA testing that he paid for. He had from 12 weeks out to the fight, which was tested rigorously all the way up, which a lot of that information will be eventually shared, and this is pivotal to the case, was presented before the National Anti-Doping Panel, which is an independent panel, basically assigned by UCAD, to hear a case.
What's your responsibility in all this?
Absolute. My responsibility is to follow the rules. I have a contract with both fighters that says you must be cleared by the Commission, the British Boxing Board of Control, right? And I've got to follow that contract, right? Now, he had that hearing, right? And
on July 17th.
18, whatever the date was. He had that hearing.
18th?
I don't. Again, no, it was on the day of the fight.
The hearing was on the day of the fight?
On the morning of the fight.
Oh,
so by the way, and this is another thing where
it's even more incriminating.
Well, not really, because no, it's not, because that's the process. Because when it was her, when we found out the information, that was the only option we were given. It wasn't me saying.
So that means you knew a couple of days prior. If you said that's the only option you had.
About 36 hours prior, because we had to have the hearing. That was what we were instructed to do.
Why wasn't the WBC notified?
Because they had nothing to do with UCAD. One, they had nothing to do with UCAD. 2, they have their own testing policy with VADA.
Who's sanctioning the fight?
British Boxing Board of Control.
Not WBC?
Well, the WBC have their own.
Let me get this.
Yeah.
It wasn't eliminated. It wasn't eliminated.
Yeah,
right?
but the British Boxing Board of Control and UCAD, which again, this is something you should look into. Their situation.
So it was multiple sanctioning bodies.
No, the commission, the commission, people commissioning the fight, the British Boxing Board of Control. Okay, so they had between them and UCAD and the fighter, and don't shoot the messenger with this. It's a confidential situation, right, with their testing. Again, I'm not UCAD. I'm not the British Boxing Board of Control.
You're not accepting no accountability though. Because the reason why, we're in a sensitive state right now.
Yeah, but let me tell you something, right? When that case goes on, I cannot breach that confidentiality. Firstly, that's a rule. That's a fact. Number 2, more importantly,
what supersedes rules? A man's life?
No,
for real.
No. But listen, I'm telling you, in a situation when there's a hearing, right, where a fighter has to be heard. If that fighter is cleared, the fight takes place. So I see your argument. Do you think I should have told Oscar Rivas? In my opinion, one...
And a WBC.
No.
And fight
But that's not up to me, the WBC. That's the commission, dealing with the commission. This is where
but you knew. Okay, let me ask you this question. Would you want your daughter showing up to a fist fight when they're... No, listen, hear me out. No, we got to... No, let's be pragmatic.
Yeah, but you're missing the point. No, he was cleared.
I'm creating a point.
No,
I'm creating my
answer
argument.
this. Why was he cleared to fight?
That's something you
Why
have
was
to
he?
answer.
No, I'm asking you.
He shouldn't have been cleared.
I'm asking you. How do you know? You don't know no facts. You're sitting there. He shouldn't have been cleared. You read an article on the boxing scene. That's your research.
There is some truth to it. There has to be some truth because you're out here.
Why did the governing body clear him? Answer the question. Answer the question.
You have to tell
You're a clown.
No,
you're a clown.
No, you have to
Everyone's laughing at you. You're a clown. You don't know no stats.
This
is
your hometown.
No, mate, it's not my hometown. I'm from London,
I'm on your turf.
And you
I'm on your turf. You're deflecting at it.
I'm not.
You are deflected at it. You are deflected.
Answer the question.
Why
did the governing body clear him to fight?
That's your job to tell us. You're the promoter.
It's not my job to. It's the governing body's job and the commission to tell you that.
You know them. I don't know them. I have to get second-hand information from you.
Exactly. You just explained it really well.
You get the first-hand information.
You get second-hand information.
You get the first-hand.
Like a second-hand car.
You get the first-hand. I get
Next question.
You're deflecting at it.
So I'm not deflecting. You've got to get your facts right. You come
Tell
here.
us the facts.
The facts are, before the fight, he was asked to provide information at a hearing by a governing body. That hearing took place. All the facts were presented. He was cleared to fight. I am the promoter of the fight. I have a contract with the fighters that say if a fighter is cleared to fight by the British Boxing Board of Control, that fight is on. Speak to the governing body. Speak to the commission. Do your job. You're supposed to be a journalist.
And talk to you. Okay, now let's summarize the whole thing. The commission knew. Everyone else involved knew at least 36 hours, according to you. At least 36 hours knew. So that means Oscar Rivas' life was not as important as the fight going on, as the event going on.
You're deflecting from the situation.
No, I'm summarizing the facts.
He was cleared by the people in charge, not me. I'm not in charge of a national doping agency.
But you knew he tested positive at least 36 hours.
No. I knew he had to go and present information to the National Doping Agency.
Okay, I'm not.
Understand what you're talking about, because you don't know what you're talking about. Ask yourself this: why was he cleared?
Okay, so let me ask you.
Answer the question.
So there was no PEDs involved.
I'm telling you, he was asked to present information.
Okay. So you're making the argument that there was no PEDs involved.
I'm telling you.
The other argument is no PEDs.
He had a hearing.
PEDs.
He had a hearing. Why don't you answer the question? Why was he cleared to fight?
That's for you to tell me.
I don't know.
You were there.
I wasn't. No, I wasn't. Again,
you were in the UK. You were in the UK. I'm not in the UK.
I wasn't in the
I was at Pacquiao Thurman. I wasn't there.
You're a clown. Come on, next question.
You're deflected.
No. Come on.
September 14th, we're going to take over the Canelo fight. The date.
October, isn't it now? Oh, who's going to take it over? Well, there's the young man over there. You know.
What's that young man's name, man?
Mate, that's the brightest star in boxing. It's Devin Haney.
Devin Haney.
It's a superstar right there. He's getting a bit shy, Bill. He's gone a bit red, you know. Like, yeah.
Do we have an opponent from David Haney?